Welcome, my sons and daughters. My name is Elder George, and I am Chief of Men's Action to Rebuild Society, an organization dedicated to promoting a more natural way of humankind. Today we bring you part 5 of the series, The Natural Woman. Today's segment is titled Strenuous Exercise or Strenuous Athletics. Strenuous Athletics affect women negatively. Let's take a look at those women who enter sports at an early age. They're not really women, they are girls. They become involved in figure skating, swimming, diving, gymnastics. We intend to enjoy watching them do somersaults and cartwheels in the school auditorium or in the gymnasium, or doing half gainers at the local swimming pool. As the girls rise higher and higher in the competition of these events, we might also become aware that none of the champion divers, swimmers, figure skaters, or gymnasts have big tits. Instead, they all have broad shoulders. Have you wondered why? They are mutating the outer change caused by their physical activities has created an inner change to their bodies. Participating in strenuous athletics causes the female body to mutate. One of the things that happens to these young women, girls, is the delay of menarche. That's the beginning of the first menstrual period, which normally occurs about the age of 12. But amongst these athletes, not until they're 13, 14, or even 17. Now, when women begin menstruating, their bodies also begin to produce estrogen, an ingredient necessary for the development into womanhood. The lack of estrogen in young athletes negatively affects this development. It can lead to early osteoporosis later in life. It also leads to the stunting of female growth. The bodies of these young athletes develop sprains, ruptures, and breaks. Do you ever notice they're always wearing a bandage somewhere? Which are but small effects in relation to what's happening inside their bodies. All the internal organs are affected in one way or another. Some experts say that a growing number of women in their 20s and 30s risk permanently damaging their pelvic floor muscles through weight training and high-impact aerobics. As a result, they are suffering prematurely from urinary stress, incontinence. Urinary stress incontinence, known as USI, or prolapse, problems normally associated with childbirth or menopause. The womb is a very delicate organ. It was not designed to be in a disruptive environment. We'll come back to that. Studies have shown that over time, repeated lifting of heavy weights or high-impact gym activity can weaken the structure of the connective tissue, muscle, and fascia, known collectively as the pelvic floor. Physiotherapists encounter many patients who have caused irreparable damage through inappropriate workouts. High-impact aerobics, which involves much vigorous jumping about, can also be risky for women if performed excessively. According to the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, 3 million women a year suffer from USI, which can cause embarrassing leaking during any kind of activity, or even when a woman does so much as sneeze or cough. Several studies have linked USI to excessive physical stress during exercise. One published in the journal Physician and Sports Medicine a few years ago reported that 28% of sporty women were affected. Researchers have also shown that 2/3 of female gymnasts get USI because they have overstrained their pelvic floor muscles during training. In some cases, damage to the pelvic floor muscles leads to uterine prolapse. This happens when the supporting ligaments lose their elasticity altogether. Most commonly, the womb starts to drop in the vagina. Remember what I said earlier? That the womb is a delicate organ and it requires a tranquil environment in which to function properly. We don't require any more statistical proof, do we? Isn't it a matter of logic that there is no natural purpose for women to participate in athletics, and to do so is injurious to the woman? It is natural for men to participate in athletics. We do want their shoulders to get broader. We don't want them to have big tits, and we want them to be muscular. Women's bodies are mutating, which reduces their ability and desire to propagate the species. You know, when a species mutates to the point that it affects its reproductive ability, it begins to start on the road to extinction. That's where we are. To all women, I strongly advise you to give up athletics. To parents, I urge that you start agitating through various organizations to take your daughters out of sports programs. It's time we stop the mutation of our young women and return to a more natural way of life. If you would like to learn more about our message, please log on to mensaction.net. That's MENSACTION.net. I thank you too for tuning in. I hope to hear from you. Until then, I send you my love.